produces 60 million tons of milk with 100,000 people. You are condemning these people to poverty. If they're not employed, they're hanging out. We need to move them. We need to move them to low-skill manufacturing, which is a disease you have eradicated. India has a hero or zero labor market because organized manufacturing has not come because of our labor laws. We would have had 35% higher organized manufacturing in India if the labor law regime recognized that job preservation is not a form of job creation.
Can I answer that? The dairy movement in India has been largely promoted in the cooperative sector, and in the cooperative sector there is a far greater respect given to the producers who are also the laborers. And I do not believe that if we keep looking at this only from the angle of production, instead of looking at it in terms of the remuneration that labor gets and the kind of protection that is required for that huge labor force which will never come into manufacturing.
Why not?
Which will remain where they are.
They have a birth defect?
I think we need to protect them there, and I do not think we should reduce the status of organized labor to that of unorganized labor.
Gurudas Das Gupta, if you look across the border, when you see the success that countries like China have had in bringing millions and millions and millions of people out of poverty, it had a lot to do with the fact that they had lots and lots of factories and therefore lots of employment. It was a manufacturing-led economy. What is wrong with following China's labor laws?
It is wrong to compare Indian economy with the Chinese economy.
Why?
Because in the Chinese economy also there is huge underpayment, huge job loss, and a large volume of poverty. It is not a paradise. Neither India is a paradise. The basic question is different. The basic question is not only growth and production. Basic question is welfare of the people. You cannot show me a single example where a factory could not come up because labor law obstructed it.
Could you give examples?
No enterprise, no corporate believes in observing the labor laws.
Okay, could you give me an example?
The basic question is, I am giving example of Honda, I am giving example of Sunbeam, I am giving example of jute manufacturers in West Bengal, I am referring to tea industry in West Bengal, I am referring to manufacturing in the construction industry in Tamil Nadu.
All those are my examples.
No, labor law is...
Why are they your examples?
Because they've been destroyed.
Observed by
all of them have been destroyed. Why is it been destroyed?
I mean 100% because job preservation was viewed as a form of job creation. So 700 secure jobs and insecure jobs are better than 200 secure jobs.
Let me add that in West Bengal, Gurudas Das Gupta ji will know that 45% of this country's person days lost due to strikes and bunds, 45% is in West Bengal. No wonder nobody wants to go there.
I think that...
Can he respond to that?
Gurudas Das Gupta, you want to respond to that?
It is a dilution of truth.
A dilution of truth. Okay, it's not entirely untrue. It's not entirely untrue, it's a dilution of the truth.
No, it is a dilution of truth means it is untrue. I do not say it is lie, because lie is a bad word. It is mainly due to lockout and closure, not due to strike, that the mandates are lost in West Bengal.
So who locks out?
Ignorance
As perhaps the person who's been through the largest strike in recent years, what led to it? Was it management fault? Was it workers being unreasonable? What leads to strikes and lockouts?
I think Mr. Gurudas Gupta was leading the strike at that time.
That's why I'm trying to get you into discussing it with him.
We were having negotiations. Our cost to the company of a worker was 22,000 rupees in 2000. They were asking in 5 years it would have been 40,000 rupees. So they went on strike. Fortunately, we worked at 100% capacity when 70% of the workers were outside. Cutting short the point, they had to withdraw the strike. We implemented our program of productivity and incentives. The situation today is, because we were able to control the cost to the company, we improved productivity. Maruti today is producing at that time 3 lakh vehicles, today 1 million. More jobs have been created because we were able to reduce our cost, be productive, were able to improve our market share and export.
So, you can do all that? You can do all that without changing the labor laws.
That's my point. The point I'm making is that if we were to agree to all their welfare, which was to increase their salaries and packages by 100%, we wouldn't have been there. We had to control
but
the point I'm making
Can I just say, let me now just look at it from the other point of view. The sort of thing, for example, the government is saying, and which is that You worry about how much you're going to be paying the workers, how much you can increase their salaries and benefits by. But many companies in corporate India are today paying their CEOs, are paying their top management absolutely obscene salaries. Yeah. And that also would be doing as much to damage those companies as anything which you might be doing for the workers.
I agree. That also should be controlled, but this also should be reasonable. Not for a second am I saying that the workers should not be protected.
I mean, let me just take my point which I just made a little forward. If you actually have to ever go for dinner in Delhi or in Mumbai to a five-star hotel, you will see a number of young people driving up in very fancy cars. If you actually take a look at those people and take down their numbers and try and figure out which companies they represent, many of them are the promoters or involved with the management or companies that have actually gone sick. So there are lots and lots of cases where the companies are doing very badly, but their promoters and the industrialists who are setting them up are actually having a really good time driving around in Mercedes, not suffering too much. No, that's wrong. There is something wrong with that.
I don't think we want to protect an entrepreneur who has violated any kind of labor protection. You're talking about
but
people
they get away with it. They get away with it. Why is it that somebody whose company is sick, whose company is making losses, why should the promoter be driving around in a Mercedes?
Well, the key issue you're raising is ostentatious consumption. That's what you're talking about.
Does it or does it not happen? And should something be done about that?
I mean, what?
Go to the workers and say, fine, make adjustments, but then also somebody at the top level should also...
But we've seen that in the downturn. No, those adjustments have been made. I mean, see, yes, I mean, it's not there are silly entrepreneurs, but drunk driving is not an argument against cars. They are corrupt politicians, they're good politicians, they're good trade union, bad trade union leaders. I mean, this broad brush of every entrepreneur and manager being a myopic vampire who can't calculate self-interest.
I'm not saying every one of them is, just as you shouldn't make any generalization about trade unions, you should make any generalization about entrepreneurs also. But an exercise which you might be interested in doing at some point is take a look at the stock market pages of any newspaper. Yes. Look at the number of shares that are trading at less than 10. Means the company is in deep trouble. Go and look at their promoters and see how many of them are still probably having a good lifestyle. And there's a lesson in that.
Agree, but there's one...
Go and live in the slum.
Vikram, can I answer that?
No, I'm not saying they should go and live in the slum, but surely they should take part... If they are taking the rewards from a company that's doing well, they should take the...
Vikram, if they illegally take those rewards, hang them.
Do you agree with that?
Can I just answer this? Yeah. In a competitive market today,
those
entrepreneurs who do not behave themselves and work accordingly will not be able to last. The examples that you are saying, some of them may be doing it, but they may not be in the industry anymore.
They'll soon be out. All right, fine. We'll wait to see if that is the case. I'm going to take a break at this point, but let's try and see if we can have some solutions, because while we've had a discussion on what the problems are and we don't have an agreement, is there some way that we can move this country forward? If this is one of the most important items on the agenda for this country to address, can we do it in a win-win solution? I'm not sure whether we necessarily find win-win solutions on a program called The Big Fight, but let's try in the next section. Welcome back to The Big Fight. We are addressing one of the most important issues perhaps for the country and for the country's economy, because every single economist, or every second economist says that you must fix labor reforms, you must do labor law reforms if you really want to move forward. Not everyone on this panel is completely in agreement.